All right. Good evening. Welcome to another session of the Sales Edge and Business Chat Room. And I want to welcome you, for those of you listening in. I want to welcome you, and we're going to share some interesting tips and ideas in this, in the session today. Okay. So we'll start off this way. We're going to be talking about follow up, by phone, by email. What are we going to do? How are we going to do it? Right? And you know there's a lot of uncertainties right now, especially around now, right? So most companies are trying to survive, just basically surviving. So let's not even discuss massive growth right now. Although it is possible, I've seen it and experienced it in the in the last 5 6 months, right? And we need to wake up now. Here's my belief: the challenges that we've been facing is not wholly caused or 100% caused by the pandemic. Of course, there's a lot of contribution from it, but it's my belief that it's revealing what's broken, and it's telling us what to fix, what to adjust, and what to improve in. So, that's one of the main reasons where we're doing these sessions. So let's get on with that, shall we? So we, all of us as business owners, entrepreneurs, and professionals, we cannot afford to wait around for help to come. Okay, even if it's coming, it may be too late, right? So what should we do? All right, what should we do? Okay, we need to transform, we need to improve, and we need to develop new skills and take action every single day. We must seize the current situation, analyze our strengths, weaknesses, and we need to figure out how to adapt to the situation and transform them into opportunities. One of these opportunities is something that's very touchy for a lot of business owners, entrepreneurs, and professionals. One of these is follow up. And in this session, we're going to talk about follow up calls, follow up emails, why you should do it, when to do it, and how you can do it effectively. All right. Now, we tend to hesitate when trying to follow up, or we don't know when to do it effectively, right? Or we don't know what to say because we don't want to seem pushy, and we don't want to seem aggressive, or we don't want to seem desperate, right? Realize this: gatekeepers and decision makers and your prospects, they can possibly receive hundreds of emails and dozens of calls each and every single day. And then when you add in, the chat apps like WhatsApp or Viber, or the WeChat, or any number of chatting apps, that number can get even higher. And we get a little bit irritated or a bit down when we don't get an answer, right? See, not getting a response doesn't automatically signal a lack of interest. They could really just be too busy. In fact, 10 minutes ago, I got a WhatsApp message from a prospect, and he got in touch with me. I didn't hear from him from 2 days when I last followed up, and his message was, "Hey Chris, sorry, so sorry. I've been really busy, just trying to get a few things in order." And answer is yes, right? So, it's not really automatically signaling a lack of interest. They could also really just be too busy. I also did get another WhatsApp message, kind of like the same thing. And the ending was, "Hey, you know what? When I get less busy in a couple days, I'll let you know." All right. So if you want to get through, if you want to get through to them, you must, you must follow up. Okay. For somebody working in sales, there are many reasons why following up should be part of your toolbox. And it might possibly be one of your strongest weapons, your main weapons. All right. And why are follow-ups, why are follow-up calls and emails important in your sales process? All right. According to a study, 80% 80% of sales Take 5 follow-up phone calls after the initial meeting to close the deal. Okay? And it was also found in this study that almost half of all salespeople give up after just one follow-up. Okay, having a persistent follow-up plan in place already puts you ahead of the curve, and it's so important because your competitors are not really doing it. Okay, even in struggling markets, sales follow-ups are essential. In a study of mortgage lenders, it was found that the most successful salespeople were the ones that were the most persistent in following up by phone and by email. And you know what? It's not just in the mortgage or lending industry. This is true for any and all industries. So, when do I need to follow up on sales leads? If you want to get ahead of the competition, one simple change that you need to make is to follow up more and to follow up quickly. All right? The average salesperson normally just makes 2 attempts to reach a prospect, whether you talk to them or not. So uh, think about this. So whether it's following up on an appointment or dialing out to try if someone picks up, keeping up this practice is all worth it in the long run. And aside from persistence, another equally important component of following up is the response time. Lead response time is simply the measurement of how quick a business responds to a lead that initiated contact. Here's a quick example. A famous Harvard Business Review study highlighted that out of over 2,000 U.S. companies, 2,241 if I recall, they highlighted that out of 2,241 companies in the U.S. that they measured, 24%, okay, almost a quarter, took more than 24 hours to respond to a lead initiated contact. With another quarter, 23% of the companies never responding at all. This is amazing to me. You spend time, you spend money, you spend effort, to get an incoming inquiry, and it takes more than 24 hours to respond, or even not responding at all. Now, think about it. If you've ever done this, or you have experience where you made an inquiry and you're interested, that's why you made the inquiry, right? But nobody responded to you or got back to you. These are alarming numbers and alarming habits that businesses should guard against, especially because the chance of qualifying or getting them closer to making the buying decision drops to, all the way down to 10% after the first hour. It's that phrase, strike while the iron is hot, right? And even worse, no leads were qualified past the 10-hour mark. This basically means that postponing the pursuit of a lead for the next day, we all say that, right? Oh, I'll get to it tomorrow. I'll call them tomorrow. I'll reply tomorrow. This basically means that when you postpone getting back in touch with a lead initiated contact to the next day will most likely result in the lead going cold. And then we wonder why it's getting harder to sell or to close deals. So how to follow up? Avoid, avoid, avoid touching base calls and emails. You know, simplistic. Just for the sake of doing it, the token emails and calls without providing any value, they're more likely to annoy your prospects than moving them along the sales funnel. A quick way to demonstrate value is to show care by immediately referencing your previous interaction or something that you said in a prior call or email at the beginning of the follow up. It could be something as simple as something previously agreed upon, or just a quick mention of a detail from a past call. Maybe they attended a webinar or you or one of your colleagues encountered each other at a trade show, or you email some information to them, whatever you choose, whatever approach you choose, ensure that your call is tailored to that particular prospect. Saying that you're calling to touch base or to circle back or to check in with you doesn't give the prospect any incentive. Okay, it doesn't give them any incentive or motivation to talk to you. Warming up the call is always a must. This is why detailed note taking and logging calls are such important habits for salespeople. Integrating your, let's say you use a CRM, integrating your phone system with the CRM, or at the very least, taking notes on a lead sheet helps instill these habits. Okay, use repetition. It may sound weird or counterintuitive to repeat details that were agreed upon and discussed, but repetition is one of your most powerful tools as a salesperson. People tend to pick up and believe what they hear repeatedly. They tend to believe what is said over and over and over again. Okay? And if you repeatedly tell the prospect or the lead how they will benefit from your product, it is extremely vital and important. The truth is, a lot of prospects, a lot of decision makers, they get a lot of calls, and not making an effort to leave a lasting impression is almost is almost guaranteed that they're going to erase you or forget about you. The more that they retain, the more that they remember, the faster you can educate them on why their problems can be remedied, and get benefit from your proposed solution, from your product or service. Now, you should also reach out on different channels, and you should have the information on the different ways to reach prospects and leads. You need to be able to reach out using all types of communication and platforms: phone call, chat, SMS, WhatsApp, Viber, whatever you have, even in-person meetings. And each client, each prospect, right, will have their own preferred channel. So you must make sure that you write this down and remember it, okay? Because if, let's say, they don't like phone calls, and you call them, they might get irritated. They may prefer email. They may prefer a WhatsApp message. All right, and you can reach out using a combination of different channels, with emphasis to their preference. The minimum should be phone calls, both live calls and voicemails, and email. And when you call them and they don't take the call, maybe if you don't want to leave a voicemail, you can send them an SMS, because it's proven very effective, as it improves the familiarity between you and them. Okay. Now, sometimes SMS or voicemails is not enough to close the deal, but it will help with recall and improve response rates for your future interaction. And then also leverage your online presence, being easily accessible through social media, discussion boards, and maybe blogs or videos. You have to provide value to the prospects, um, even if it's just through adding valuable discussions on their own platforms. Okay. Now, next is brush up on your summarizing skills. Having the ability to give a quick summary or a rundown of what was just discussed should be a skill developed by all business owners, business people, entrepreneurs, sales professionals. Okay, you need to develop the skill. Once a call is over, you should be able to summarize all the pertinent, all the critical points very quickly, and you got to write it down. And then send it over in a WhatsApp or send it over in an email. Use this as a best practice. That can be your next step follow up, to remind the prospect on what was discussed in a summary, and then ask for their confirmation. Does this all sound right? And this helps to maintain the conversation going forward. Now, next is always set a plan of action for the next call. Never ever end a conversation and the call and the SMS exchange. Never end a conversation without the next step. Salespeople must close each interaction with a clear cut plan. You must know what the next step is. Not only do you have to know what the next step is, but your prospect has to know what the next step is. It could be either setting up an appointment for the next call, scheduling an on site visit, or scheduling a demo or a quick confirmation call. All right. Maybe you need to set a meeting with the management committee or the stakeholders or other stakeholders to reinforce the value of your solution. Now, this next tip, okay, a lot of people say, oh, I don't like this tip. All right. Use templates and scripts. You must be able you must be able to create your phone call scripts, cold call scripts, follow up scripts, email templates, as well as WhatsApp message templates. Use these as a guide because you don't want to have to think and create something new each and every single time. All right, and these are very different from the mass email scripts. All right, they help you ensure that every relevant point is covered, okay, in each interaction, and you must personalize it. Okay, it is a critical must when you use these templates in day-to-day prospecting and follow. You must personalize it. Never ever, dear sir, dear ma'am. Oh, and never ever throw in the phrase "sorry to bother you." Average salespeople love to throw in "hi, hi, Chris. Sorry to bother you." Never ever say that. You are not bothering them. You're supposed to interact with value. You're supposed to give them something that's relevant. Okay. Next is you must track and measure your success. As with anything in sales and marketing, anything that you do not measure, you cannot improve. Keeping track of numbers related to sales interactions is not hard anymore. There's so many tech solutions, app solutions, digital solutions, all kinds of CRM calendars. Um, if you don't like any of that, use a lead sheet. Every single one of your prospects, if it's not in your CRM, you need to have a lead sheet. I like both. I like to have it in the digital platform. That's where it's in my computer, it's in my phone. But when I'm calling, let's say I'm calling from my desk, I like to use paper lead sheets. Okay, look around, shop around for a solution that helps you capture most of the data in a very simple manner. Things like your connection rates, roughly how long you talk to them, how quickly you respond, are just some of the numbers that you must track in order to work on what you can improve. For emails, the tracking, the open and the response rates are the absolute minimum. Now, there are solutions which help you track more metrics like click rates, which URL they click, more advanced apps. They have what's called heat maps. What that means is they can kind of track where where they click and where they're reading, or do they even open it, how long they open it for. All right. So with these tips, I would encourage you to follow them. If you're not doing any of them, or worse, if you're doing none of them, all right? If you're doing none of them, you can see the quickest results when you start implementing two or three of the tips that I shared with you, all right? If you're doing some of them, every single professional can improve their follow-up skills. Everybody can. All right. Now, my closing thoughts, my final thoughts for this session is this. Getting the most out of the leads and prospects, it requires patience and persistence. All right. We need to have, we need to be professionally persistent. Okay. Make sure that you value each lead and each prospect and handle each interaction with the same professionalism that you would use for your best accounts. Now, sales, whether it's B2C, business to consumer, or B2B, business to business, it's all grounded on strong and trust filled relationships. Building trust early on sets the stage for successful future interactions. And a final note, if a prospect asks that you stop reaching out, honor that. However, do your best, okay, for your own knowledge so that you don't repeat the mistake. Get feedback from this particular prospect on why are you telling me not to ever call you again. All right, the information that you get can only help you and help you improve your results. Okay, so I want to thank you for listening to this session of the Sales Edge and Business Chat Room. And I want to wish everyone stay safe, be well, and blessings for all of us. All right, thank you.